let's jump right in. First of all, thanks for coming and watching. We're going to take a look at the market. Obviously, not going too well. Starting here with Bitcoin, we are at sort of our macro range low here. Could be worth punting some buys here. But with that said, it is still a knife catch. Not super ideal. But your risk is pretty minimal because you could just cut it below, 28.8 sort of. If we fall below that, aside from a swing failure, it's basically just air down to 23K, 23.8. And beyond that, if we keep falling from there, that's when you start to look at basically 20K again. But there's a solid chance we could hold from here, get a little upside, at least come up, sort of retest 37K. So there is a trade here. It's just a bit risky with the market the way it is, with UST sort of forming a black swan for the market. I'd prefer to see that resolve first, but at the same time, this area can go away quickly. It could get bid up quickly. So definitely something to consider. Jumping down 4 hour, not much different. We're coming into this demand zone. We want to see this snap up. We do have sort of capitulation level volume here. So, I could definitely make a bullish case here. Not that the structure's bullish, just a case to bid, which, might be something I decide to do. I'm going to kind of keep watching for the rest of the day, see what's going on. Jump over to ETH. And ETH structurally has sort of held up better, which can be seen in the ETH BTC chart we'll look at in a minute. But just in terms of this range, right, like ETH is still sort of on the first quadrant more so than the range low. Potentially that means it has more downside, but potentially that's showing strength, getting more of a bid. So, something to consider that ETH may be holding up better, may outperform if we do get a recovery. And it is, coming into sort of its local range low, respectively. So, again, these are prices that, a few months ago you wish you could have bought. Now they're here. It's, you need to manage your risk and be willing to cut this at a loss if it doesn't hold. But with that said, I think these prices are certainly tempting. I mean, the selling's been relentless. It certainly hasn't been a fun time to be in the market if you're not a bear and you're not shorting. Excuse me. But for the bullish case, for this to actually get bullish, first we need to just reclaim this level. Sort of mark this as another deviation similar to these. And then we can start to look at, getting up here, getting above that. That would be pretty bullish. Not something I'm thinking is super likely. We also have to keep an eye on SPX and the stock market. Unless we decouple, which it just seems isn't happening. This correction is probably going to take as long as the stock market's correction does. So, not really great news there. Let's jump over ETH BTC. Okay. Showing strength, like we talked about. Especially today. This could just be a correlation with Do Kwon sold, I think, 1.5 billion in Bitcoin today to try to combat the UST depeg. So interesting to follow that as well. Just as sort of a side plot. But yeah, I have no strong inclination to say that ETH is going to outperform. It just seems to be that it is, but it's it's just getting sold less than Bitcoin. Basically, it's not really outperforming in terms of a bull market where something's actually pumping harder than something else. This is just less being sold. It's dumping less. So, it's a weak sign of strength. Coming over to total. Alright, we got a bunch of old lines. This isn't a chart that I maintain or keep up with really, but we are at an area of support. Right, if we look at support here, resistance here, we can call this a level. Falling below it. So I think this just sort of correlates with Bitcoin, similar structure. Although ETH kind of keeping it up here, it's really just a blend of the two charts. If Bitcoin can bottom at this level we're looking at, then we could see a rally on other things. So we just need to be looking at what's driving these more so than what's actually happening on that chart, in my opinion. This is what we need to be looking at right here is Bitcoin, and we need to be looking at the S&P 500. Which is losing its support today. Looking at it weekly, this has some downside potential if it can't, quickly snap back above this and sort of just give us a deviation here. I think there's a fair chance this comes down another 13% or 12% because it's already broken down a little bit. Which just isn't going to translate well into crypto. So, yeah, that's something to look at too. And all of this is just stemming from basically the Fed in the U.S. Looking at QE, looking to offload their balance sheet, let things expire. We've had months and months and months of just billions of dollars in stimulus to prop up the market, and now that's going away at the same time as they're needing to either sell or, like I said, just let things run off. So hard to be a bull here, for sure. I was probably bullish a little bit too long myself, but, things aren't looking great. So I guess that's not too much more to say. Be interesting to see what happens with UST. Personally, I think it's going to restore its peg. I've been in the sort of Luna ecosystem for quite a while. I've seen this before, and I've seen it restore its peg. So I think once that happens, the market can have a little more stability, and we could see a little bit of a rally from that. Just as some of this, everything's tied together. Some of this is just, it's a black swan for the market when you have a major stable coin losing its peg. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Bitcoin here. Certainly looks tempting to me. And if we lose this, we'll just head down to probably 24, 20K, somewhere in there. And we'll see what happens from there. Alright, I'm going to jump into the group. We'll chat, answer questions, see what everyone's looking at. Thanks for joining. Bye.